Okay, hello everybody. I'm meteorologist Ashley Smith with your 19 at noon update. And we are going to be talking about some updates to the forecast compared to what we were looking at yesterday for sure. There have been some changes, of course, with the track of Francine, which I believe is still a trial. Actually, we'll look at that because there should be an update coming up soon. But yeah, with how Francine is going to impact our rain chances as we head into the weekend, and any storm chances around here too. So yes, let's actually look at. Yeah, still a tropical storm. Still expected to become a hurricane. Actually, they've upgraded it to the forecast is expected to become a Category 2 hurricane right around landfall. But right now, the winds are still sustained at 65 miles per hour. It's kind of moving further out into the ocean, so it should continue to strengthen, I would suspect, throughout the day today. So we will see some changes there. The biggest change for our forecast, so let's say Tuesday, Thursday, is that it doesn't look like we're going to get as much rain. The track of this is shifted a little bit further to the west, and unfortunately, because we could use the rain, that means a lot of the rain is going to stay away from us. So that's the biggest change to the forecast. I'll just tell you right off the bat. But as always, first of all, thank you for joining me, and then leave your comments if you have any questions about the forecast. It's another busy weekend in the Tri-State. We have Oktoberfest in Newport and Covington this weekend. We have Ride Cincinnati. Next weekend, another very busy weekend with, of course, the Oktoberfest Cincinnati. So a lot going on. Yes. Okay. So let's dive right in. Beautiful weather again today. Seeing still a little bit of that hazy kind of view, but it really isn't that big of a deal. But just wanted to mention it again that, well, in this model is not working, but yeah, that we could see. There we go. Sometimes this one, has so much data in it that it takes a while to kind of load. But yes, we're still going to be talking about the potential to see very light amounts of wildfire smoke high up in the atmosphere, moving in from the north and northwest. But once we kind of change this air mass, that shouldn't be much of a factor. So for another day or two, you may notice it. But again, very high up in the atmosphere, not impacting us here at the surface, besides the fact that you can see it with your eyes, but not affecting us as far as what we're breathing in. Sometimes that can be the case. It's not with this. Radar right now is dry. We're going to go down to the tropics again, to the Gulf, to continue to track, of course, Francine, which is spinning there along, and definitely a more well-defined eye here, showing signs of strengthening as Francine is continuing to move over the Gulf, which, of course, is very warm this time of year, and allowing it to strengthen and bring a lot of rain to those areas. So areas of Louisiana and Texas especially. And then really kind of all along the Gulf. So you go into Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, all going to be seeing some impacts there from that very heavy rain. So this is the latest track. Again, as of 11 a.m., that's the latest advisory. It is still a tropical storm. They'll have another update at 2 p.m. and at 5 p.m. When it does strengthen to a hurricane or when it gets closer to landfall. Now, actually, they've knocked it back to a Category 1. So kind of going back and forth between 1 and 2. Either way, when it does... When it gets closer, they could have updates more than every 3 hours, but right now that's where we're at. So another update at 2 o'clock, another update at 5 o'clock. So yeah, expected to be a Category 1 storm as it makes landfall there in Louisiana, probably sometime Wednesday or Thursday, and then continuing to make its way inland. So here's the biggest change, is that it stays much further to the west, kind of targets areas of southeastern Missouri, southern Illinois, western Kentucky. But earlier, or when we looked at this yesterday, it was kind of continuing that curvature to the northeast. Now, not so much. And this often happens with these systems, that the track of that changes pretty significantly, especially before it actually makes landfall. Because when it makes landfall, it interacts with the land. It starts to slow down. It starts to lose a lot of its characteristics that it had over the Gulf. So that could lead to some changes in the track of it, in the strength of it. all of it. So that's exactly what we're seeing with the track is changing. It also starts to interact with the other systems that are there, the other cold fronts that are moving through, the other low pressure systems, whatever it may be. It's starting to interact with that, not to mention the land masses, the mountains, the plains, the Appalachians, whatever it is, it's going to have an impact there as well. So now that it's shifted a little bit further to the west, it means less rain for us. I say that kind of in a negative tone because we need the rain. We've been saying this for so long. We are well below normal for rainfall, especially if you factor in several months. So over a lengthy period of time, which of course has led to those drought conditions. I mean, I was looking at some of the yards, there are even some yards that do have like a sprinkler system. And even those are suffering because the sprinkler system is kind of more of an accessory to Mother Nature, right? It's not supposed to just take care of the watering alone. And so, everybody seeing some impacts, no doubt about that. So again, because of this change in the track, that means a change in our forecast. So we'll dive into that too. Just want to mention again, I talked about this yesterday. Let me look at this on the NHC's website. 2 more systems out there. And these percentages are actually wrong. But the one to the east is actually I take that back. Okay, so for the next 7 days, excuse me, it has a 70% chance of forming into a tropical system. The next 48 hours, only a 30% chance. The system to the west, this one, which they're really close to each other, but anyways, the system to the west has a 40% chance, so a less chance to form in 2 to 7 days. It's the same. So either way, still a couple of systems out there that we'll be tracking. Excuse me, I think I need a drink. We're not done yet with this tropical season, obviously. Okay. So way too early to tell how those may impact us. But either way, just something worth mentioning. I know some folks, maybe vacation season is over. You're not going to the coast anymore, but you may know somebody that lives there. You may have an attachment there. You may have a vacation home there. So I just always want to point that out, just because not only could we have some impacts here in the tri-state, but people have ties to those areas too. This obviously hasn't changed. This comes out once a week. This will be released Thursday with the fresh information. I think it's just going to worsen because even when we've seen rain, it hasn't been enough to make a difference in the last week, and we really haven't seen a lot of rain anyways, for that matter. So drought conditions continue to persist, and really extreme drought conditions in a large portion of the Ohio Valley. Excuse me, you go to southern Ohio, a large portion of West Virginia, in extreme and exceptional drought, which is as high as you go on the drought monitor. Here locally, most of us abnormally dry or in a moderate drought. Actually, I would say most of us are in a moderate drought, but portions of Highland County included in that extreme drought as well. So again, just remember there are some burn bans ongoing. That's something that you do need to pay attention to. And it just goes to show that, I saw in West Virginia actually recently, they think that somebody flicked a cigarette. It was like along the highway. And it started these small brush fires. And the fire department was called pretty quickly. But had that not been the case, it could have spread very fast and it could have become something much more dangerous. So that's the kind of thing that we deal with this time of year, or in these types of situations, I should say. Any kind of small flame can turn into a big fire if it gets out of control. It's going to turn warmer today. We'll be in the mid 80s, and it turns downright hot the next couple of days. So 70s right now, 77 in Florence and in Milford, 78 in Westchester and Mason, 74 in Dry Ridge and Brooksville. At CVG, which of course, look, you can see the control tower right there. 77 degrees at CVG. Winds are light out of the south. Dew point has crept up. Still not really noticing any kind of humidity. The dew points in the mid 40s is still very comfortable considering the time of year. Today we'll make it to 84 degrees, sunny skies, warmer, and a little warmer than normal too. Hello, Becky. So definitely going in that upward direction for sure. Let me see here. Just wanted to look at a couple of other products off air. Okay, so yeah, so we'll climb into the mid 80s today. Yesterday's high, that's what I should have been looking at. Hold on one second. I can pull that up very quickly. I think it was 80, wasn't it? Yeah. 80 yesterday. This morning we made it down to 50. So yeah, so a little bit warmer today, from 80 to 86. From 80 yesterday, I mean, to 86 today. So yeah, a little bit of warmer weather. Okay, let's look at this, how it is right now, and then I'll kind of dive into what's happening along the coast. So here's our rain chances. Now remember, as we looked at this yesterday, it looked like Francine, again, wasn't going to take quite as much of a westerly track. It was going to continue that northeasterly curvature, and we were going to see more rain here locally. Now it's looking like just kind of that outer band of Francine, kind of the very initial round of rain. That's the only thing that we're really going to see directly from Francine. Will the weekend be a complete washout? Not at all. So Monday morning, we do see that rain, but then look at how quickly, Friday morning, and then look at how quickly it just kind of falls apart almost. Francine just weakens significantly Friday night into Saturday, and we see very little amounts of rain from it. And then again, you notice here Saturday evening, rain tries to develop, and it just falls apart before it gets to the tri-state. Just really dry air in place, and every system that seems like it's going to bring us that beneficial rain, it just falls apart. So I would say Sunday right now is looking completely dry according to this model. Saturday, a few scattered showers. Friday morning, the best chance for rain. And then Monday, Tuesday, we still have that small chance for rain in the 7-day, but we might have to adjust that because I was just looking at making some adjustments to the 7-day right before I was doing this, and now I'm feeling more confident. What I wanted to point out, and hold on, let me adjust this, is what happens here, not only for us, but there's this other system out here. Look at that, how it starts to form here. This is early Monday morning along the Carolina coastline, and kind of just sits there in North Carolina, into Virginia, parts of, moving into Delaware, Philadelphia, New Jersey, seeing some really heavy rain early next week from really this system that's kind of just off of the coast. So that's something worth watching as well, because it could have, again, kind of those indirect impacts for us. In other words, it kind of keeps whatever weather we're experiencing further to the west and over top of us for a little bit longer. The rainfall totals, the projected rainfall totals, hello Jordan, from this system. This is the very unfortunate part about this. It looks like the heaviest rain is going to be southwest of Cincinnati, which is where the drought conditions are not quite as bad. And the lighter rainfall totals are to the northeast. Remember, Hillsborough is in that extreme drought, or very close to that extreme drought. Little amounts of precipitation. So the heavier amounts will be southwest, closer to where Francine has that more of that impact, and the lighter amounts to the northeast. So unfortunately, it's yesterday I was saying, this is exactly what the doctor ordered. Not so much anymore. Now we've shifted so much that it's almost night and day different from what we were looking at yesterday. It's not bone dry, but it's not nearly as plentiful in rainfall chances as it was yesterday. So Friday, I really think most of those storms are going to be in the morning. That's why I was going to look at something here and see if this model agrees. And then, first let's talk about the next couple of days. Today is in the mid 80s, 90 on Wednesday, so we do get warmer on Wednesday. Kind of hot, really. 90 degrees to me is hot. Thursday, it's still pretty warm, but the clouds do start to increase, and that's really because of Francine. We do see that impact as far as the cloud cover from Francine. And then Saturday, very small chance for those scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. Sunday, we kept the slight chance in. We kept it in Monday. I think I'm going to have to change that. I think Sunday and Monday I'm going to have to trend dry, because it's just most of the models are agreeing with that. So it's unfortunate for those of us that need rain, which is pretty much all of us. But it's good news for outdoor activities this weekend. So kind of bit of a trade-off, I guess you could say. Also, keep in mind other allergens will be worse with the dry weather. You know, the rain could kind of tamp down some of those allergens. We're not going to get that chance. Still no snow, Jeff. That's right. Okay, not a lot of questions today. If you guys have any questions, you know the drill. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. You know, because of the air being so dry, the heat index is actually going to bring the temperature down. It's kind of interesting. So, yeah, it's not like the middle of summer when we talk about the heat and humidity being so impactful. Just a 90-degree day tomorrow, not too bad, really. Of course, we're not really used to it because it has been a lot cooler recently, but okay. And no threat of any kind of severe weather when we do see these rain chances from Francine. As a matter of fact, even like when it does make landfall, portions of Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida could have some stronger thunderstorms, but once it moves inland, it really just loses a lot of that. Even our wind speeds, even the wind speeds around the center of Francine, or the remnants of Francine, don't look to be all that strong. Let's actually see if it shows that here. So maybe 30 miles per hour here Friday morning. Again, not for us. We're going to have, you know, maybe 10, 15 mile per hour winds at most because we just see very little impacts from Francine. Because not only does it stay further to the west than what we looked at yesterday, but it's also going to be a lot weaker. It really just kind of fizzles out once it moves into these areas. So yeah, they're looking at still about 45 mile per hour wind gusts in parts of, what is this? Well, this is Louisiana, Mississippi. Still going to see those impacts. And then Arkansas, still going to have like 30 mile per hour wind gusts. Western Tennessee, Western Kentucky too. But here at home, just very minimal impacts, which means minimal amounts of rainfall as well. Yeah, I was thinking, who said that? Jeff. I was thinking about that today because even as I looked at my grass, which is dead, mostly dead, there's also like dead leaves. You know, it reminds you of fall. It reminds you of that last cut of the season, but it's September 10th. Like it's not even, normally you can cut into November sometimes, you know, especially October. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how dry we've been. Okay, let me show you the 7-day forecast again, even though, again, I'll probably be making these tweaks to the weekend forecast here. You'll have to see those changes coming up this afternoon. But let's look at it, how it is right now. Today, mid-80s. We even brought these temperatures down just a bit. We had yesterday, we thought maybe 86. We've brought it down to about 84. Either way, mid-80s today. 90 tomorrow, close to 90 on Thursday with those increasing clouds. And then that chance for the only time that we should really hear any thunder would be Friday, maybe early Saturday morning, but otherwise it's just scattered showers. And it's very light rain, if anything at all, with those temperatures in the 80s. It will not be humid this weekend. Now, it will be, let's see, actually, let me look at what the dew points will be. Dew points do creep up into the 50s, 60s. So it will be more humid, but you're looking at dew points in the 60s. Temperatures, low 80s. So, you know, it'll definitely feel a little bit more humid than it does outside right now, no doubt about that, as those dew points climb into the 60s. But, you know, with temperatures in the 80s, dew points in the 60s, it's not too terrible. It's just definitely a different air mass than what we're experiencing right now. Definitely a tropical air mass, that's for sure. Yeah, I just can't get that rain to continue moving east. If you noticed on the drought monitor, actually, let me see. Probably pull that up again. See how like southern, southeastern Kentucky, they're okay because a lot of those systems kind of come up from the south and then die. But just to the east, like these anytime that we have seen storm systems, they just piddle out. as they move from west to east. And so that's why the drought conditions are even worse there. Okay. I have a special project that I need to go work on, so I'm going to get cranking on that. I'm going to update the forecast, though. That will be updated online. And then, of course, again, for our 3 o'clock newscast and all of our afternoon and evening newscasts, we'll have those tweaks as the models are kind of catching on to what's the difference in the track with Francine. So we'll have all of that coming up for you here later on Fox 19 Now. But for now, I think I'm going to log off and get to work on other things. Okay, guys, have a great Tuesday.